So today we're talking about sine, cosine instead of sine. So if you remember sine from let's try and see if I can get a pen instead of a highlighter. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, right? That's what we learned yesterday. We learned that 2 days ago. So this is what we've been talking about this week, right? So cosine, now we're going to talk about cosine. And cosine right here is abbreviated COS, and it's adjacent over hypotenuse. So remember what the word adjacent means. Adjacent is right next to each other. Right next to. Okay? So in this case, it makes the angle with the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. Okay, so it's actually making the angle that we're looking at instead of opposite of the angle we're looking at. So in this case, if this is my angle, right? This is my angle right here, theta. You can see here's my hypotenuse and here's my adjacent side. They make the angle. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking at for today. I'm going to be looking at the two sides that make the angle. One will be the hypotenuse and one will be the adjacent side. Okay, so but other than that, everything else is exactly the same, except instead of sine, I'm using cosine. So if we look at our, and remember in Desmos, we have to go to and change it to degrees because we want our answers to be right. But if I look at my functions, on your calculator, if you have a calculator with you, it'll say COS instead of SIN, right? And in the trig functions, you'll see it says sine here, and then it has cosine and tangent. Those are the three that we're working with. So instead of sine this time, we're going to be working with cosine. Okay? So here we go. We're going to go to the first problem. Again, the same thing. Find the size of x, round to the nearest tenth. So we want 1 decimal place. If my decimal place is a 0, I might go to 2 decimal places, but 1 to 2 decimal places, okay? So find the size of x. So here's my angle. And I want to locate my things that I'm looking at. Well, what do I have? Well, I have the hypotenuse. Ooh, that was a straight line. So I have my hypotenuse, and I have the side that makes the angle, so that's my adjacent side. So that means I'm going to use cosine. So, here, let me write bigger. Let me zoom in. Ooh. Okay, so let me write this bigger. So I have cosine of 53 is going to be equal, what does cosine equal first? Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, right? So my adjacent side is 8.6 over my hypotenuse, which is x. Any questions on that part of it?
No.
Zoomers, any questions? Okay, so I'm going to cross multiply, right? So I get x cosine of 53 equals 8.6, but I want x to be by itself. How do I get x by itself?
Divide by cosine 53.
Very good. Divide by cosine of 53. So x is, and then I'm going to go to my calculator, right? Because we can't figure this out. No, it wasn't that one. What was it? 8.6. 8.6. Ooh, how come I have an extra 5 in there? Let me erase that. Divided by cosine of 53.
It will be 14.2 now. 14.3?
Yep, 14.3. 14.3. Questions?
No.
Anybody at home have any questions, or are we okay with that one? I have a couple more examples of that. You guys know that, right? So we're just not stopping there. Okay, so let's go to the next problem. Ooh, maybe I can go to the next problem. Here we go. Okay, here's my angle. I want to find my angle. And I know the right angle points to the hypotenuse, so this is my hypotenuse. And then it's making the angle with my hypotenuse, so that means it's adjacent, right? Okay, so that means I'm going to use cosine of 39 is going to equal adjacent 9.1 over my hypotenuse, which is x. So I cross multiply. Please stop if you guys have any questions. Please stop me if you have any questions. Okay, so I've got x cosine of 39 equals 9.1. And to get x by itself, I'm going to divide by cosine of 39. So x is approximately going to be equal to, what is it? 9.1. 9.1 divided by cosine of 39. 11.7.
Wait, what? What? I got 7.07.
Well, hold on. So it's the hypotenuse, right? So can it be smaller than the other side?
No.
No. So did you multiply or did you divide?
I divided. No, you multiplied.
I bet you multiplied.
Oh, because I didn't even put none. I just put 9.1 and then cosine 39.
That means you're multiplying.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions? Even with calculator use? Okay, so numero 30. You guys like my speaking, it's so good, I know. Okay, let's do this one. Try and find, we'll just do it right here. Okay, so first I need to identify my sides. Oh, helps if I can actually see the problem on my iPad too. And here is my angle. If I find my right angle and I go opposite of that, that's my hypotenuse. And then I'm making the angle here with my hypotenuse. So this is my adjacent side. So that means I have the cosine of 61 is going to equal 7.7 over x. Cross multiply, and I get x cosine of 61 equals 7.7. And I want to get the x by itself, so I'm going to divide by the cosine of 61.
15.9.
So x is approximately equal to, probably whatever Ketlin said, 7.1 divided by cosine of 61. 14.6. Oh, it's because it's 7.7, not 7.1. Where did I get 7.1 at, you guys? Let me go back here. Backspace, 7.7. There we go. 15.9. Wow. That made a difference. That 0.6 made a huge difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, my Lanta. Maybe I should sleep at night. Try sleeping. Might work out.
Yes.
I know. So sad. Okay. Number 4. Let's see, where can I write the number 4 at? Up here, I guess. Okay, so here's my angle. That's 42. I find my hypotenuse, my right angle, and across from that is my hypotenuse. And it makes the angle, so this is my adjacent side. So I'm going to pull this over so I can write over here. So I have the cosine of 42 is going to equal adjacent over hypotenuse. My gosh, did I just, I have to look. Oh my gosh, I did all the same problems, the same type of problem. Wow, I did so super good when I was making this. I must have totally messed up.
What happened?
I don't know. I was all excited that I had this done. And obviously I did a bad job of it.
Nah, your mind was probably just somewhere else.
Who left? It looks like Alakai left. Okay, so cross multiply. So x cosine of 42 equals 4. So I'm going to divide by the cosine of 42. So x is approximately going to be equal to, you guys already know how to do this by now, but I'm having a rough time today, obviously. Cosine of 42, so it looks like we've got 5.4?
Yes.
Awesome. Questions at home? You guys doing okay? All right, we're going to change the next two. I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to change the next two. We're going to take the x and the number and we're going to flip them. So I'm going to call this one 4.3 and we're going to call this one x. Are you guys okay with that? We're just going to flip them. Okay? So we get at least a couple of the other way to do this one. We're going to do that on 5 and 6. So once again, I'm going to look for my angle, which happens to be 77 degrees. My right angle sign points towards the hypotenuse. And then here's my angle, my side adjacent to my angle. It makes the angle. So I happen to know that cosine of 77 is going to equal x over 4.3. Okay? So same thing, cross multiply. I'm still cross multiplying. I get x equals 4.3 times the cosine of 77. So this time when I'm trying to find a leg, I'm timesing. So when I'm finding the hypotenuse, I'm dividing, just like yesterday. When I find the hypotenuse, I divide. When I find a leg, I'm going to times, right? So I got 4.3 times cosine of 77. So that should be it should be 1. Should be 1.0. Hope I didn't mess up on I guess I should look on the other problems too and see if I messed up on the whole thing. I would be so upset at myself. Be like, wow. I was so proud of myself that I got everything done in time and didn't have to rush this morning, and now I totally screwed it up. So again, we're going to switch these. So this should be 9.1 and this should be x. So here's my angle, my hypotenuse, and it makes the angle. So this is the side adjacent. So cosine of 39 equals x over 9.1. Cross multiply, and I get x equals 9.1 times cosine of 39, or x is approximately equal to 9.1? 9.1 cosine of 39. 7.1. Beautiful. Okay, you guys doing okay at home? All right, so do now. Okay, good, I didn't mess it up. Woo! We're going to go ahead and do the first 4 first. Okay, so I want you to do A through D, and also you'll be able to find out. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So here's my angle, my hypotenuse, and my side adjacent, because it makes the angle. So I've got a cosine of 10 equals 5.8 over x. Cross multiply, I get x cosine of 10 equals 5.8. Divide by cos of 10. It's not cos, it's cosine.
Cosine.
X, I said cos, is 5.9.
I got that one right.
Okay, B, here's my angle, hypotenuse, adjacent, so cosine of 51 is going to equal x over 2.9. Cross multiply, I get x equals 2.9 times the cosine of 51. So x is approximately equal to 1.8.
Yes, sir.
Woohoo! Questions? Okay. C. Here's my angle, hypotenuse, side adjacent. So I've got the cosine of 74 equals x over 4.2. Cross multiply. X is going to equal 4.2 times cosine of 74, which is approximately equal to 1.2. All right. D, here's my angle. Here's my hypotenuse, my side adjacent. So I've got the cosine of 72 equals 4.1 over x. X cosine. Good.
Divided by cosine 72 both sides.
Good.
X is approximately 13.2.
13.3.
I mean 3, yeah.
Yes, very nice. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys at home a chance to do the next 4 problems. I'll give you and see how you guys are doing. I know you guys got it. I know you guys got it since you're not talking to me. I'm just going to assume that you guys are understanding until you tell me differently. So, hypotenuse, side adjacent. So I've got the cosine of 79 is going to equal x over 4.1. Cross multiply. So x is going to equal 4.1 cosine of 79. So x is approximately equal to 0.8. Did you get that?
Wait, what?
0.8 for letter E.
Yeah.
Good job. F, here's my angle. Here's my hypotenuse. The side adjacent. So I'm using cosine of 12 equals 3.9 over x. Cross multiply. So I've got x cosine of 12 equals 3.9. Divide by cosine of 12. And x is approximately 4.0.
F?
Yes. We're still good?
Yeah, I got it.
Awesome. So you guys, I know that I'm spending some time going over finding the hypotenuse, showing you how I'm finding the hypotenuse and how I'm showing that it's the side adjacent, right? and you're like, why are you doing this? They're all cosine. But because they're not always all going to be cosine, so you need to be able to identify if it's adjacent or opposite somehow. Okay, so in a couple days, next week, obviously, the problems are going to be mixed together, and you're not going to know if it's sine, cosine, or tangent, and you're going to have to decide what it is. So you're going to have to figure out how to do that. So we're going to start looking at ways to do that, and like these little markings are ways that can help do that. So that's why I keep doing it over and over again. So I just wanted to kind of explain that a little bit. So I've got the cosine of 25 is going to equal, let's see, 8.4 over x, cross multiply. So x cosine of 25 equals 8.4, divide by cosine of 25. And x is approximately going to be equal to 9.3. And then the last one, here's my angle, pointing to the hypotenuse. And here's my side adjacent. Okay, so that gives me cosine of 79 equals x over 4.4. Cross multiply, so I get x equals 4.4 cosine 79. So that's approximately equal to 0.8. Done. Okay, so now you have the assignment in Canvas that you need to complete. It's 10 questions. What?
Wait. It's 0.8?
It should be 0.8.
I got confused when we finished.
Okay. So you have your assignment in Canvas that you need to be working on. And the form. So you can get some extra credit on that. And then if you're not done, you need to work, if you get that all done, you need to be working on missing homework because I'm going to be updating your grades right now also. So is there any questions? Can I help anybody with anything?
I probably divided what?
Okay.